I'll tell you a story one time. When I was a young man, this has no relevance for anything. When I was a young man, I was probably 23 or 24. And when I got saved when I was 16, and I was just a kind of a wild kid in a lot of ways. And a real jerk, and had to work through a lot of things, and just really mouthy in a lot of things. It was bad. It was a bad scene. And it was patient, firm pastors that helped me kind of mitigate and understand what was actually valuable. So I went to a church for 11 years where 2 or 3 prophets stood, as it were. And it was incredible, actually. It was amazing, because typically how it would work is for a younger brother would stand up and share for about 10 minutes. And then he would sit down, and then somebody with some maturity, typically like one of the deacons or one of those guys, they would stand up and they would share for about 20 minutes. And then lastly, one of the 4 elders, one of them would stand up and share for about 30 minutes. Every Sunday, it worked that way. And I would say the vast majority of Sundays, it was always congruent. So it'd be a very similar idea that was shared from the same place. But it was random, meaning every single man in the gathering got ready to teach Sunday. Every single one of them. And then we just waited on the Lord, and somebody would stand up and say, hey, I think I have a word from the Lord. And they would share. And one time, because I was kind of a proud idiot, still am, but hopefully a little less, I went to stand up, and one of the elders was like, sit down, James. And so, of course, I was like, this is from the Lord, and I love you for that. No, I was pretty much ready to be like, I will fight you in this church, right? But I just sat down because I thought better. And when I came later on, they talked to me, and they're like, hey, we asked you to sit down because we don't think you're ready yet to share. I think I was trying to stand up like for a second or something like that. And they were like, we don't think you're ready for that yet. And I was enraged. And so that's why I needed to be sat down, because I was full of pride. And it was something that legitimately, over time, not in the moment, changed my life. And there's something to be said in God's house where God says, you have to be humble if you're going to share a prophecy. You have to realize that you're nothing. And then if God gifts you and it gives you an ability to share with people, to realize that it's God's gift alone and there's no merit for you in it. And so when you look at some of these things, these would not fly in our society. I'm not saying it should be that way. That would not fly in our society. That someone stands up and is sharing something, somebody else says, oh, hey, actually God's given me a revelation about that. Why don't you go ahead and take a seat? And then a third person says, oh, hey, wait a minute. I think God's given me something about that. Why don't you go ahead and take a seat? And then everybody graciously says, cool, the will of the Lord be done, and then takes a seat. That's what he's describing here. I mean, this is an incredible, incredible thing. You think about the squabbles and the fights that happen in churches today. I mean, it can be about food or coffee or worship or drums or a djembe or no djembe or the cajon or what. I mean, it can be the seats. Do the seats match this? Are the seats comfortable? Are they not comfortable enough? What about this music? Or what beat? I don't even know about it. What rhythm of the beat? Where is it at? Oh, that's of Satan because it's on the whatever beat. And I mean, just think about all those things. There wasn't any opportunity. And that's what he's writing to Corinth. He's saying, look, you guys, you think you're something and you're not. Instead, what we're called to do is humble ourselves in everything that we do. We do it to make sure that the people around us are built up in Christ. That's our pure motivation when the church gets together.